Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Beth Ann, and today I wanted to talk about this book, Toxic Ivory Towers by Ruth Enid Zambrana. Dr. Zambrana is a distinguished professor in the Department of Women's Studies at the University of Maryland, which I'm from Maryland, that's my state university. I didn't go there, but go Maryland. This book is focused on the experiences of college and university faculty in the U.S. who belong to underrepresented minority groups. The subtitle here, The Consequences of Work Stress on Underrepresented Minority Faculty. And this is an academic work presenting the findings of Dr. Zambrana's research. She defines the minority groups included in her study very specifically. She's talking about just 4 groups. They include Black people of African origin, Puerto Ricans, Mexican Americans, and American Indian/Alaska Natives. So for the purposes of this particular study, Dr. Zambrana focused only on groups of people in the U.S. who have experienced slavery or colonization. And then although this book is focused only on faculty, that is, professors and researchers at colleges and universities, I think a lot of the broad points apply to any professional situation in the U.S. Dr. Zambrana, to conduct the research for this book, she conducted surveys and interviews of faculty around the U.S., gathering information about their experiences in several broad areas. So those areas are, number 1, the value of mentorship, where participants unsurprisingly said that having a good mentor really helped them navigate professional life, while on the flip side, many participants identified a lack of good mentorship as a key thing causing stress and uncertainty in their work lives. The second broad area in which she conducted research was the emotional toll of constant micro and macroaggressions in the workplace related to the ethnicity and race of the participants. And the third is the difficulty of work-life balance, where faculty may be financially responsible for extended family in a way that faculty from white or middle-class backgrounds generally aren't. The fourth broad area of research is the lack of clarity and often conflicting messages around the requirements for promotion and obtaining tenure at colleges and universities. And finally, her research really explores the intersection of all of these challenges across multiple aspects of identity, including gender in addition to race and ethnicity. Overall, I felt like Dr. Zambrana really collected and collated many individual experiences and created a compelling narrative about the failure of U.S. colleges and universities to support faculty from underrepresented minorities, despite the proliferation over the last couple of decades of diversity initiatives. One of the really interesting points related to that, and why Dr. Zambrana focused her data collection on the 4 underrepresented minority groups I mentioned earlier, is that one result of these diversity initiatives is that we've had a lot of faculty coming into the U.S. from other countries. And that in itself is a good thing. Like, we need diverse global viewpoints and experiences in education in the U.S., but it means that if you just look very cursorily at overall statistics of faculty, we tend to conclude that diversity initiatives are working more than perhaps they really are, because we're missing what Dr. Zambrana continually refers to as our domestic talent pool in this book. And those are faculty from the 4 communities that I mentioned earlier, the underrepresented minorities, which include groups of people that have experienced slavery or colonization in the U.S. So I really thought that that distinction in particular was really interesting. So overall, I feel like every white student and faculty at all levels of education, even just undergraduate students, but through graduate students, and then every faculty member, should be required to read at least selections from this book, if not the whole thing, to understand how the professional deck in academia is still subtly and structurally stacked against minority faculty. Having said that, this book is a bit dry to sit down and read straight through, as I did this month. It very much reads like a textbook and a social science textbook, but that makes it a really excellent and rich resource to digest bit by bit and return to frequently. And the really, I think maybe the most important thing that a white academic like myself can really learn from this is taking into account all of the individual experiences that Dr. Zambrana is summarizing and pulling together here, and not relying on our BIPOC colleagues in our immediate circles to constantly tell us about their experiences. So we can go out and we can read a scholarly work that tells us about that without relying on that individual witness that is such an emotional weight for our BIPOC colleagues to bring to work every single day. So I highly recommend taking a look at this book, again, Toxic Ivory Towers by Ruth Enid Zambrana. And as I mentioned earlier, even if you are not directly employed in academia or you're not a college student, I still think that this book really applies regardless of your professional situation, because I think a lot of the structural barriers and challenges that these historically underrepresented minorities in the U.S. have gone through play out in all aspects of our national professional life. So again, I highly recommend it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Future me just popping back in with a note. I forgot to open this whole video with a quick mention of just why I really wanted to read this book and why I think it's important for me to talk about. I, of course, am in no way an expert in any kind of diversity, equity, inclusion studies. I'm obviously a white person, and I've mentioned before my level of education. I have a PhD, so I obviously likely come from a fairly privileged background to be able to spend that much time in school. So yeah, just I'm obviously not an expert, but in 2020, of course, racial issues have really been brought to the forefront of American culture, and of course, they've been an issue since our country was founded. We were founded on racism and genocide, and I think in today's world, that white people in particular have been called to really try to examine that history and examine the privilege that comes with it and examine the way that that still plays out in the modern world. And so as part of my own effort, I am trying to educate myself more, and it's not just reading books. So I read this book as part of a discussion group affiliated with my workplace, where I'm actually meeting with colleagues from all over the country in a virtual discussion group, or book club because it's a book, but virtual discussion group to really try to examine this and to think critically about how we as individuals and as a field can try to make things better and more equitable and more inclusive. So just to put that out there, that this is part of a larger project for me, but again, I'm of course I know nothing about this. I am learning and trying to trying to really learn and to sit with what I'm learning. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you watched this whole thing that you're interested in coming along on this journey with me, because I will be continuing to read more social justice works, and I will be posting about them. So thanks, and see you again next time. Oh, and I should also say, if I'm making mistakes and saying things wrong or too shallowly, I love to be challenged and educated. So if you have the time and emotional bandwidth to engage in discussion on here, I really, really welcome feedback and discussion, curiosity, and of course anything that is actually hateful, I will not pay any attention to. So again, thank you. Let's have a conversation.